I'm Dr. Keith. This is a digital accessibility quick tip. Today on Quick Tips, we are back in the world of keyboard testing, and this time with radio buttons. We are going to, in this test, navigate to and from groups of radio buttons using the Tab key or Shift plus Tab to move to and from those groups. Next, we're going to move through available options using the arrow keys. And then finally, we'll confirm our selection by using a button. Ready to begin? We're going to go to w3schools.com. That's W, the number 3, and schools.com. Now you're going to notice a very simple interface here. Code on the left-hand side and then examples on the right-hand side. So in the case of radio buttons, we have two groups on screen. The first one, please select your web language, allows me to choose between three options, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But I haven't gotten there yet. So what's the first thing we're going to do? We're going to tab to get to that element. So I hit tab, and now I'm in the area and I have focus on one of the choices. In this case, I want to go ahead and choose CSS. So I hit the down arrow, and now you see that focus has been placed on CSS and that has actually been selected. But what if I wanted to select HTML instead? Well, that's simple enough. Hit the up arrow and I'm right back at HTML. If I wanted to hit JavaScript, I could hit the down arrow twice, 1, 2, and there I am at JavaScript. Or I could go right back up to HTML and I could cycle through by hitting the down arrow again, and I'm back at my first choice. And this is how radio buttons should work. I'm only able to cycle between the choices until I've made a selection, at which point I can now leave that area to go somewhere else. I'm going to hit the Tab key one more time. And this time, notice I've moved into the next radio button group. This one allows me to select the age, either 0 to 30, 31 to 60, or 61 to 100. This case, I'm going to say I am 61 to 100. So I'm going to hit the down arrow twice, down once, down twice, and I'm at 61 to 100. So how do I get back to 31 to 60? I can cycle through by hitting the down arrow again, and I'm up to the first choice. Now I'm back to the second choice, 31 to 60, and that has focus. Notice nothing on the page has changed. That is by design. Nothing should happen until you actually submit the form. How do I get to the submit button? I hit tab, and now my focus is on the submit button. If I wanted to move away from it back to the radio buttons, I hit shift tab, and I'm back at the radio button that I've selected, 31 to 60, but I'm going to hit tab one more time, and I am at submit. Now that I'm at submit and I like my answers, I'm going to submit the form by hitting enter. And now my choices have been received in the submitted form data. My favorite language, CSS, and my age, 60. Let's review. Navigate to and from those groups of radio buttons using the Tab key. You can get in or out using Tab or Shift plus Tab to move to or from an element respectively. Use the arrow keys once in the radio group to cycle through those available options. Up arrow or down arrow, or the left arrow or right arrow should perform the same cycling. And then finally, in order to confirm your selection, use whatever button has been added to that form or to those groups of radio buttons, either a submit or a done, whichever, as long as it's a button which will confirm that action. Now that you know, go back to your radio buttons and then make your choices. See if things are behaving in the same way that we did when we went to this website. Above all, be an ally and continue to develop accessibly. Thanks. See ya.